Heyo, welcome, everybody in. Today is Facebook land, YouTubeville, and stay away here, buddy. Got hot coffee. And X World, or that sounds wrong. I know X isn't Twitter anymore, but come on, we all just say Twitter. That's just how it works. And welcome back to the show, to all my last weekers. Fake stairs, yes. First of all, I apologize if the camera's like this and not like that. I tried a couple times. StreamYard was not allowing me to do it like we typically do it, but I think I could actually see the comments a little bit better. So maybe this will work in our favor. Joined with me is my wife, who, are you still watching, that lady? Yeah. My wife, just seconds before, was watching, I don't know who the woman is, somebody who organizes their house that wears way too much makeup, like it looks like a mask. I think it's called Dark Man. Dark Man decorates. And my little guy, who of course is going to be buzzing around here because I have, thank you, cars here. I'm going to just keep the audio off the car. That probably is good. And I got my coffee and my water, so I'll be stopping a toddler several times during the show as to not allow him to get burned. So, I thought the audio was off on this. Let's change that. Yeah, my son likes any toy that makes just enough noise to haunt us. But here for the last stream of 2023. Let's see who is joining us. Las Cruces, of course, the first one in. How are you? Mm-hmm. X11, cheers to you, sir. Salute to you. Paul, how are you? How are you? Mr. Evil, Dr. Evil, excuse me. He didn't go to medical school to be called Mr. Evil, honey. Well, Bora, how are you in the wilds of Canada? Fanboy, I'm worried about you, man. Look, I know that the year is almost over, but after seeing some of those Silver Surfer covers, dude, if you haven't exhausted your vision benefits, go to like a Pearl Vision Express or something today, man. I mean this all in good fun, and I know that he knows that. I know some people might think I'm being harsh. I don't know even if Ron Lim likes that many Silver Surfer covers. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, that means that you didn't check out Fanboy Prime this morning. I think most of you did here. Everybody's saying hi. So chat will be at a minute. Lady Prime had me run to the store. Oh, okay, so he may not even heard that. Neil is here, coming off his victory lap. Neil, that was an easy one. I'm not going to lie to you. I told Fanboy, I don't know if he saw my comment, because I had a toddler screaming at me in the background. I'm up for a challenge. I just need like at least 2 weeks advance notice, and I have to run it past my wife. Unless you guys don't mind me during the challenge, like stopping to go take care of a toddler. But we'll see. Kenneth, how are you? Yeah. Because when he went through the retrospect, I was like, all right, not one of these is a good cover, in my opinion. Pal, can you not throw them? Thank you. We're playing with cars this morning. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Okay. You're welcome, my name. Yeah. No, let's set it up, and then if Neil's on too, I gotta bring my A game. I'm thinking all the Adam Hughes I could think of. Yeah, I know it's a marathon, because that's usually also my grocery store time. So I'm usually checking in at least like a half hour to an hour in. But I don't know. This morning felt a little early for some reason. I think it's just because this is a good transition. Okay, I can't get that for you right now, pal. You can reach that. Come on, go from the other way. His truck is under the chair. You could get that. Yeah, it's usually my grocery store time. Evil, yeah. You know what it is? It's tough love, sir. It's tough love. I felt myself be a little harsh, and I was like, maybe he might take that the wrong way. You never know nowadays. You never know. But yeah, no, I was saying, I think this is the first. Yeah, this is like the first night since last Saturday that I didn't like go to bed at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I finally finished. This is the portion of the show which has nothing to do with comics. I finally finished my Kaplan prep course for my insurance licensing exam, which is about as interesting as that entire sentence just was. So next up is the state exam, which I'll be taking at some point later this month. But I did really well on the Kaplan test. These things are like, you have to take, these are normal sounds for him, it's fine. You have to take like a test to take another test, and then you have to take another test so that the state says, okay, now you can take the state test. So I've got just the state test left. I feel pretty good mindset wise, and I extended my Kaplan access for about a month, so I figure I could do like practice tests like twice a week or something just to stay sharp. But yeah, so hopefully I will be wrapping that up shortly. I'm just gonna call back to work, make sure they're covering for it, and we go from there. And I know that hopefully was the most boring part of the whole show that I just explained now. All right, so why don't we talk comics? So before we get into talking about CGC and talking a little bit about 2023, I'll show you what I read this week, the stuff that I can read. No new pickups. Probably, you know what, honey, I know that you have, we have that thing to do on Thursday. You want me to say it while I'm streaming? We have an appointment on the 4th.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
On the way back, would you mind if I stopped at Fat Moose to get my stuff?
Probably not. Depends on the time.
What time's your appointment? Like 11?
11:45.
Yeah, so should be okay. We'll see. You guys witnessed that. Okay, so yeah, I didn't go to my LCS yet. They have a nice stack waiting for me. What are you looking for?
Go there first.
Yeah, I don't know. I could look for it later. Yeah, so, and I've paid for most of it already. I think I have maybe 2 weeks to pay for, but we'll see. I don't even remember. I don't think I've been there since October.
You may be sitting on it.
I'm not sitting on it. I would know if I was sitting on a piece of wood. Oh, good, nothing spilled. I did get a couple mail calls in lately, if you've been watching my channel, you know. We actually reported one last night after I did my exam. I didn't post this week, as I said, because I was preparing for the exam. So I'm not going to share what was there, but I did do recently a unboxing from Shop for Comics. Very cool. I really love the drawing he made of me as Cable. I was just admiring that this morning, actually. So a couple of the books I read this week are actually tied into what I got in my shop box. I'll give you just some brief kind of things here. I'm not going to go into a huge review. Jimmy Robinson's Junk Robot, or Junk Rabbit, excuse me, was just okay, in my opinion. I felt like there was a lot at the beginning that just didn't need for the story. You good with the cars, pal? Artwork is kind of interesting. It kind of reminded me a little bit of, if you remember Keith Griffin's Trencher back from the early days of Image. It's kind of obvious who Junk Rabbit is just by looking at the cover. Obvious to me. It's not something I would pick up another issue of, to be perfectly honest with you. Venom number 27 was okay, yeah. And that's kind of how that first issue felt, Mike. I'm glad that you pointed that out. So say Venom number 27 Loyalty 192 from the Donny Cates run. This is a couple years old, I think, at this point. It's been a while since I read a solo Venom book. I was collecting Venom regularly up until, I'm going to say, midway through Agent Venom. So you're talking at least 10 years ago at this point. I mean, it was interesting. I'll say that. I think maybe one of the most interesting things I've read as far as Venom goes in the past few years. I'll say this. So is it World Deconstructing? I do like that. I guess this is where they establish the quote-unquote Venomverse, which is, I think, ending this year. Yeah, I mean, it was okay. Like I said, again, I'm going in with it where I've been away from Venom for a very long time. I mean, it was a good read. It's not something I would consider like a must-own. And we also have, I read Ninja Gaiden #1, Black Box Comics. I was kind of familiar with this book from Bueller, just the title. It was here's the thing. I like the premise. It has to do with like these kind of cybernetic ninja suit. Kind of reminds me if you've played Metal Gear Solid, that ninja in it. But mixing ghosts and whatnot. So a little bit of, I guess you could say, Japanese religion. I just think the pacing is really off. Bigby, how are you, sir? Check out some artwork, by the way, that Bigby's been doing lately. I get reels from him sometimes, and I'm not I'm not caught up on them. Again, it's just been this whole week has just been nothing but studying and testing and everything. So I have to jump back into that. But make sure you're following. Yeah, follow him on IG. Look him up on YouTube too. I think everybody knows each other at this point, but I'm going to throw it out there just in case somebody discovers this video. Maybe aliens. You never know. Yeah, so I just thought the pacing was kind of weird. Like I didn't get, especially for the first issue, I don't have a good feeling or a good kind of overview of who this character is, which I personally think is kind of crucial, at least that you get out of the way the first 2 issues. I would consider reading the second issue, like if it was a dollar bin or something, or if somebody just kind of gave it to me. It's not something I'm interested in actively seeking out to purchase. Thanks, buddy. Train tracks. Here you go. Nope. Okay. He wants me to have it. Thank you. I appreciate that. If you have any like stacks of $100 bills in your toys, just bring those to Daddy too. Okay. Good talk. Yeah. So it was a okay read. I'm gonna say okay, bordering on good. But like I said, I wouldn't go crazy looking for the other issues. I don't know. Maybe the rest of the series is good. But like I said, I'm not going nuts for it. I did read digitally, finally, the complete Wolverine Ghost Rider, I think it's Weapons of Mutant Destruction storyline, which I finally acquired the Wolverine parts. The Ghost Rider parts, I'm kind of temporarily at least giving up on trying to find them. I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised. I had initially intended on skipping it just because I thought it was just going to be a cash grab. You know, yeah, I keep forgetting that Ben Percy is probably the best and most consistent writer Marvel has at this point, at least in my opinion. And again, my stack and what I've been reading regularly is less and less every month. Hey, buddy, sitting in this chair, he's ready to sleep. That means
He's watching me. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you something. If you are a fan of the 90s X-Men books, you got to read this series. I read it all on the Marvel app. I probably think it's going to be traded. Thanks, Marcus. I probably think it's going to be collected in a trade paperback at some point, if not already. But yeah, I mean, they did something very unique without going into a full review as far as tying in kind of that classic kind of hero versus hero trope, like, oh, I thought you were a bad guy. I thought, and that's all a flashback because let's be honest, Wolverine and Ghost Rider met up several times. But I'm gonna go ahead and say this was probably the best of the two characters teaming up since we're talking the 90s when they had the Jim Lee X-Men and Ghost Rider crossover where the Brood somehow took over Ghost Rider, which I still don't understand. But yeah, I would definitely say check it out. And I know those words separately, but not necessarily together. But do what you got to do. Yeah, I highly encourage you to check it out. And I like it too that I feel like it was a thank you, pal. Yeah, I just set up the tripod this morning a certain way. I was like, oh, he's not going to bother it this way. But yeah, just like Jurassic Park, life finds a way. Thank you, pal. What was I going to say? Yeah, no, I highly recommend checking it out. And I like that they did it for a good reason. I think they did it to take Wolverine off the board during the Hellfire Gala because the issue right before this, he was like, screw this, I'm done with Krakoa. And then that happens to be when the gala happened. So yeah, it is a couple months behind. A big swig of coffee there. Okay. So I guess really the topic of the week, the main discussion that everybody has talked about probably ad nauseum, and that's the advantage of doing a show about stuff that happened last week. The recent kind of news with CGC. I'm going to be honest with you. You good? He's got an opinion. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was not the most well-versed in this discussion. I don't regularly follow Swoggle House. It's just his focus typically isn't on what I like to focus on. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't like looking at, at this point, it's not really news. I understand. I don't really like looking at the investment portion of a comic. Anytime I have, I probably miss the mark on it. But look, that's okay. He's got enough subscribers anyway, and if that's what you guys like, that's what you like. But after seeing like a couple channels pop up on my TV with the same information, I finally watched one. First of all, it's definitely not a good thing, not just for CGC, but for Slabs Comics in general, because it can open up this window of, okay, well, are these happening with other companies? And it probably is. There's probably a lot that we don't know. That's okay, Trevor. We're just talking about you. I don't think I think that if handled correctly, this is going to be an interesting kind of flashpoint for graded comics and maybe even the whole hobby in general. Hear me out. And I'm not going to go into exactly what happened, but, and again, because I don't have that firm of a grasp myself, but I was happy, I should say, and not surprised to see CGC actually comment on this when they did. I actually was kind of half thinking maybe they were waiting until after the new year, but I think just the amount of chatter all around, they had to do something. So I'm glad that they did do that. And I think the fact that they didn't comment, excuse me, pal. I'm just collecting toy cars now. I think the fact they didn't comment right out the gate like that same day is actually a good thing, because it shows to me, hey, we were just surprised by this too. So it's not them necessarily slacking on that end of it. See, I don't know that that's the case, to be perfectly square with you. I mean, I think that coming out of this, the reholdering process, I would expect to be an overhaul. But I'm looking at kind of like the bigger picture here. And it kind of sounds like CGC is kind of going this route. look, you submit something to CGC, they know who submitted it, at least. Maybe the other person resold it or something like that. And hopefully these people are kind of dialed in enough where they have been they're able to look at the CGC numbers. Hey, CBizzle. They're able to look at their certification number, their slab numbers rather, and figure out that something's going on. But looking at the bigger issue here,
Stop.
at least let's say half of those people are dialed into this situation, and half of those people are realizing, hey, we have a bad, we have a bad slab here, a suspect slab. Now they did certify, they did respond. I think what's kind of bigger out of this is that this guy sold a significant amount of books. I mean, look, these weren't your modern, like, hey, this movie's coming out, so this book is worth a lot today, versus tomorrow it's going to be worth not even the amount that the slab it's in is worth. If he sold a significant amount of these big books, which it sounds like he may have, this is a bigger fraud issue. Not just like something between our hobby. I mean, depending on the dollar amounts, you're talking like federal. Again, I don't know what the guy sold, but from what it sounds like, it could be pretty significant. Hold on. Sorry, I gotta move my foot here. Okay, that one was on me. That's the problem with sitting on the floor to watch your kid, is that you need an exit strategy. And sometimes it doesn't always plot out that way. But so I think out of this, first of all, I think we're definitely going to see, don't do that, pal. We're going to see prosecution, possibly an arrest. It may or may not be something that we are made, it's made public. I'm kind of leaning towards that. I think that it may be just to basically make them an example. And my thing, the reason I said this would be an interesting flashpoint is not only will it force CGC and other other grading related companies to say, hey, we really have to look at what we're doing with our process. But I'm hoping it will discourage some people just, from scamming to begin with. Look, I know that, and I think Mike may have said this earlier, there's always going to be scammers in anything. As soon as you put something out, somebody's going to figure how to rip it off or how to game the system. That's a given. But, this is pretty significant. And I think that's why it's gotten the attention, of course, that it has. Three Good Nerds, how are you? That's my take on it. I personally think it's going to be like one of those deals that when they do arrest the person, you are going to hear about it. It's going to be like Game of Thrones. They're going to be like marching them down, yelling shame, maybe not naked, but that's Game of Thrones for you. Durs is making breakfast in the kitchen with Durs. So let's see, things that we have planned for this. Oh, I should say this. Almost forgot. So Happy New Year. Merry belated Christmas, Boxing Day, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever. Yes, exactly. Whatever you may celebrate. All three of these are going to go in the 1K giveaway box. So I'll put those in there. Dale, how are you? Dale, we got to find somebody named Chip for you to stream with, I think. I'd watch that show. By the way, I should say this. I'm hoping to get back in the groove of actually watching YouTube channels because I know I've fallen off, especially since the baby's been born. So now that the tests portion is done, I do feel. There you go. Make it happen, Chip and Dale. I'll watch every time. Comic Rescue Rangers. Working title. Patent pending. So I'm hoping to get back in the groove of things that way. Now that the testing is done, I do feel like there's a lot of pressure off me. State exam, I'm not as worried about as I was with the course exam, so that may or may not be a good thing. We'll find out. I am going to record and release. I'm going to record a video today to release tomorrow because I'm not going to put anything out on Monday. Basically, talking about kind of taking the Oprah route of things I did. I liked in 2023. My favorite things, if you will. There you go. Thank you, pal.
I think you should do a year in review.
Well, these are going to be. I'm not doing it like a year new. It's going to be things that I liked.
No, I'm saying now to do a year review.
That would be too long.
No, well,
And I figured
just like the highlights, like all the things that you.
I don't like talking about myself. Come on, you know that. I'm not gonna do that. Bigby, I did. Here's the problem that I have with that. I was actually good, buddy. You almost tripped. I was actually gonna message Austin to see if he knew this. Austin LeMay. I don't know what he means by the TMP digital blue pages. I tried to do a Google search and I couldn't find anything. Yeah, I'm interested in it. I actually am really behind on artwork this week too. I am working on a couple things I've been working on for a long time. I also was working on a piece for Between the Lines show last week that I just haven't had any time to work on. And I kind of like, it's a good enough idea where I want to finish it. So maybe I'll be finishing that up today. We'll see. See about how much energy we have. So yeah, I'm going to put out like my favorite things of 2023, I think tomorrow. I also we do have 2 episodes taped that maybe I now have time to edit. It's the 11 by 17 blue line paper. You know, I'll take a look at it. If it's not crazy expensive and it's not going to take me a whole lot of time, maybe I'll do it. I was under the impression it was something digital, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's kind of why. See, a lot of the artwork I've been doing right now, I'm going to say over the past year or so, has been more digital. I've done traditional drawings, you know, when I can, and traditional paintings. It's just digital has been easy for me because I could pick it up, I could do it quickly, and you know, you don't have to buy the supplies. I'm not saying it's better because I feel like you are missing that. Nothing matches that experience, I should say, of, you know, when you put paint or pen or ink onto paper and you just get that kind of but yeah, so I definitely have to look at that. Yeah, that's why I kind of thought that it was supposed to be digital, because I did see they had something about scanning. And I've read a couple, I read through the FAQ on it, and that's just how it is. Yeah. Thank you, Trev. And, you know, the only issue that you run into, and this is kind of why I try to go back and forth between the two, is that I'm afraid if I do too much digital, I'm going to lose how to do, you know, just regular drawing, regular painting. You know, I try not to approach the process any differently for that reason, but it's still a fear that's in the back of my head. Yeah, see, like if it was purely digital, I would just knocked it out and printed it on something and just sent it out. But I don't know. We're trying to look in the backyard too. My wife thinks we might have a coyote den, but I don't know yet. I haven't seen anything. So I'm just kind of looking every so often. We have had a lot of deer getting really close to the house. Maybe I'll put up a picture on IG just so you know how close exactly. But I'm just kind of looking just in case. So what else? Let's see. Yeah, no, we did record 2 videos that I have to edit and put up as well. One is the cooking video we did probably about 3 weeks ago at this point that I just haven't had time to sit and edit. And one of them is an unboxing we just recorded last night. That was actually my C3 unboxing. I finally went and picked it up from my mom's house. So look forward to that. You good, pal? Yeah, I mean, look, other than that, we're just enjoying ourselves, enjoying the day as much as we can. I'm also behind on comic book shows and films, so maybe we can catch up on that too. I've only watched like half of the What Ifs. I'm enjoying them so far. I liked the Happy Hogan one the best so far. I think that was actually the last one I left off on. But yeah, well, I'll say this. I got nothing else to say today. I think, as you can tell. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll punch out, give you guys back a little bit of time. Check out, some other shows today too. I know Rob is on at 2:30. I'll be honest with you. I still kind of separate my time a little bit. So pretty much after Rob, I usually kind of shut down. I'll say this too. One of the things I'm looking at for 2024, two of the things, and I'll get into that maybe in another video or something. But I'm looking to participate and jump on more channels, as guests and whatnot. I am going to be on Gary's channel twice next month, and Joe Anachronic's channel once. I know Joe's already talked about it. I don't think Gary has on his yet. But if you're looking for guests or if you have an open thing, let me know. As long as it doesn't interfere with anything else. I'm kind of very strict about family time. That's why I like a lot of the Monday shows. If you've noticed, I don't jump in until between the lines, just because it's like, look, we're eating dinner, we're getting the kids ready, all that fun stuff. But if you're going to have something, that's also why you don't really see me on Sundays generally. But look, if you're going to have a show or something, let me know. Maybe I could pop in. And I wanted to bring back 7-minute stories, actually. I might change it up a little bit and just do it as part of this show, but we'll see. Anyway, enough babbling. Peace, love, and comics. Enjoy your weekend, and Happy New Year.